All right. So I'm probably going to be not straying too far away from my laptop because, comfort zone and everything else. But so I'm very happy to be here today. I'm going to be talking about leveling up your incident response with gameplay. For those that don't know me, my name is Bruce. As Hamish said, I'm the squad lead for reliability and quality at VGW for the Global Poker product. Cool. So, why should we care about our incident response? So failures are going to happen. Might move this out of the way because that's right in my face. Failures are going to happen, if not caused by a cat. Who hates cats? Yeah, I'm not a cat person. But by an AZ failure or a missing config variable, a spike in traffic, or even someone using your software in a weird and wonderful way. All right, let's keep this interactive. So let's play a quick game. Hands up who's ever been on call. If I can see. Oh, far out. Most of you. All right, let's keep your hands up if on the first time you went on call, you felt prepared and knew exactly what to do when the pager went off. Yeah, everyone's like, and down. Going on call can be pretty stressful. Not too long ago, we're in a situation where our on-call engineers were responsible for the site. Well, sorry. Not too long ago, our on-call engineers were responsible for the systems within their siloed squads. This worked. They were experts within their small slice of the system. But when we got rid of those silos and brought the teams together, we needed our teams to be responsible for the entire product. And we needed our team to feel prepared to do this. So what do? We hired an SRE. Problem solved, right? So if you've not heard of an SRE is a magical creature born from Google. There are books written about their supernatural observability and DevOps skills. We've got one over there somewhere. There we are, yeah, he's magical. And one of the first things we did to help improve our incident response process was to implement blameless postmortems. Because if we weren't learning from our mistakes, we were doomed to repeat them again and again. To help us with this, we had Paul. He's the manager of the Unicorns. And for those that don't know VGW, the Unicorns are what we call our IT service team. They're pretty good. They're pretty great. Paul did a great job for us. But we weren't learning from our mistakes because we didn't own our mistakes. So to drive down the number of incidents, we had to take ownership of our process and put in actionable outcomes after every postmortem. And most importantly, these action items had deadlines. They had to be done in 4 weeks. I have a clicker, shit. So, problem solved, right? I don't even have to point it either. It's great. We reduced a lot of noise, or we reduced a lot of noisy alerts by taking actions at the outcomes of our postmortems, which was great. We were learning. But now when we got an alert, it was a higher chance of that alert becoming a major incident. And when that happened, we had a new set of problems. So during an incident, we would forget to capture what happened, when it happened, what we did to resolve the incident, and most importantly, why we did that action. We didn't have any clearly defined roles during an incident. It wasn't clear who was responsible for what and who was taking what action. And we were out of practice. The way we approached our incidents was not consistent. And the knowledge built up by an engineer during their on-call shift could just as easily be forgotten by the next time they went on call again. Sound familiar? No, okay, cool. Not just us then, hopefully. So how do we get better at this? You have more incidents. What a great idea. Well, not for the stress levels anyway. So if we could get better and work on our weaknesses by having more incidents, we should get better at dealing with them and feel more prepared when the next one comes along. But to do this, we didn't want to intentionally cause more production outages. We're not quite there with chaos engineering. But what we needed was a deliberate and focused practice in a safe environment with the specific goal of improving how we deal with our major incidents. So we adopted a practice popularized by Google, and they call it the Wheel of Misfortune. Anyone heard of this? Yeah, 1, 2, maybe. Cool. All right. It's a role-playing exercise designed to help improve your incident response. The engineer is given information about an incident, and they would have to walk through the steps of debugging, acknowledging, debugging, troubleshooting, and eventually resolving the incident. And this is all done in a risk-free environment where they can ask questions and have a bit of fun. It's not just about an engineer flexing their knowledge about troubleshooting or flexing their troubleshooting skills or their system knowledge, but it's also testing their understanding of the incident process and when to escalate to a major incident. This was exactly what we were looking for, a way of focused practice in practicing an incident for the team. So we decided to put our own spin on the game. All right, come on, guys. Far out. Oh, so we named it after a Star Wars game? No, we didn't. So we borrowed the name of a Star Trek exercise used by Starfleet to test the character of their cadets in a no-win scenario. Unless you cheat, of course. Yeah. If you're not cheating, you're not competing. No, not really. That's So I'm going to run you through how we run our Kobayashi Maru, and probably in hindsight, I wish I'd picked an easy name to say and spell, because I've misspelled this numerous times. So to start, you need 4 players. You need a dungeon master, and they are responsible for guiding the scenario. This includes triggering the PagerDuty incident or alert, providing context during the game, and also responding to questions from the players. Oh, there we go. You also need an incident commander. So in the event the scenario gets escalated to a major incident, this player is the escalation point. So they're responsible for coordination with the engineers to stem the bleeding. They're also responsible for the communication with the stakeholders, and also responsible for making sure that the major incident is resolved. You also need a primary on call. So this player is the primary point for all alerts. Their directive is to triage the incident, fix the incident if possible. They need to escalate to the incident commander if they need to, and then go back to bed. We have a secondary on-call in our incident process, and this is for engineers who are training to go on-call. And they're responsible for shadowing and assisting the primary on-call and collecting information for future forensics, so mostly for postmortems. So once you have all of the players filled, it's time to hand out some cards. So the primary and secondary are given a set of action cards and 2 special ability cards. And the action cards are for players, are used by the players to perform actions to help them debug and investigate the incident. Example of that could be check the logs. So that helps them identify the source of the failing system. Special ability cards are used by or provided to the player to provide or give them bonus abilities to help them during an incident. So think of it as like a buff card. Example of that could be a runbook ability. That gives the player a rapid recovery path to follow. Everyone's heard of runbooks? Yeah, they're great. The Dungeon Master isn't left out either. He's given a play now card. These cards are played at any time during the game, And they're used to help move the game along or give a little extra spice to the game. Depends how nasty they are. And that could be catastrophic failure. So it forces them to escalate to a major incident. Now that everyone has their cards, we can kick off the game. Actually, not quite. Before we start the game, the Dungeon Master must have a predefined failure scenario. The scenario is fleshed out ahead of time, and this includes information like what system is impacted, what are the symptoms of the failing system, so what can we see in our monitoring and log tools, what time of day it is, because that could be important as well, and what metric triggered the alert. Armed with this information, the Dungeon Master is able to field questions from the players and also provide context to the alert. Cool. Okay. Now we're ready to go. So the Dungeon Master kicks off the game by triggering a PagerDuty alert for the on-call or primary on-call to receive. The primary must acknowledge that alert, and that's when we start the 5-minute clock. This just provides a little extra pressure to the game, but also just keeps the game moving forward. The primary then reviews their cards, talks to the secondary, asks questions to the Dungeon Master, and then plays an action card in response. They must explain why they're playing the card to the group as well. Then it's the secondary's turn, and they perform the same actions. This goes on and on until either they've identified where the bleeding is coming from and resolved the incident. They've run out of time, which means their on-call shift is over, so they must hand over to the next primary and secondary on-call, and then we reset the clock. Or they escalate to an incident commander as a major incident. When the incident is escalated, the incident commander gets a set of action cards as well. An action like just the facts. This action card this action card is used by the incident commander to gather information from the primary about the incident. And the primary on-call must answer what has happened, what is the known impact, and what has been done so far. Armed with this information, the incident commander can kick off the major incident process. That would notify stakeholders, assign tasks to be completed, and all the time notifying the group and telling the group why they're doing what they're doing and why, which is always important. Once the incident has been resolved, we hold a mini post-mortem. And this gives us the opportunity to provide some immediate feedback on what went well, so we can reinforce the right behaviors. What needs work, so we can identify areas of improvement in our process and what we learned, so we can identify actions that we can carry over into future rounds. So this is us playing not too long ago, either pre or post-COVID. I'm trying to remember that. But you can see the clock in the background there. A really handsome Dungeon Master there as well. Spot the one. Running these sessions has helped us a lot sharpen our incident response skills. It has helped us identify what works and also what doesn't work. One key thing we try and do in our sessions is have a little fun. We want everyone to be engaged and have a sense of humor. This helps calm everyone's nerves during the game. Even a simulated incident can be pretty stressful. Okay, let's review how using gameplay has helped us improve our incident response. So beforehand, we didn't have any clear records during an incident. We now capture all activities in a dedicated Slack channel that is specifically created for our incident. Our engineers are now more comfortable explaining what they're doing to the group and why. And this keeps everyone on the same page during an incident. We didn't have any clear roles defined during an incident, and this often caused double up of work, and not to mention some confusion as well. We now have an incident commander role. We have a role for remediation and also for investigation activities. All tasks are identified, allocated, and coordinated now. And we are out of practice. We now have the opportunity to sharpen our skills with deliberate and focused practice in a safe environment with immediate feedback. Using gameplay has definitely helped us level up our incident response capability. We've still got some more room to grow, but with a bit more practice, a bit more fun, we'll get there. Thank you. That's it. So I put a link to the bottom there. That's the original talk I put up there, so if you want to grab that. It's a bit more information on some of the cards we use as well.
Big round of applause for Bruce. That was great.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.